What's nice tonight is that it's very quiet locally, so there should be no problem hearing anybody to be heard. The old Tube Radio Network taking some early check-ins. We've got SWL 61, Mr. Copenhagen 24, Joseph is in 650-145, Tony. Some items of interest. We're trying to do the video stream on a limited basis with whatever is available. I think there's minus one camera, much else, but we're going to try it tonight. So if you're there, it looks like the chat window is working, and of course we're going to try and check in as many tube radios as possible. So I hope the audio is working all the way around here on 27885 on 11 meters. For the roll call, 00 is still Dave. Dave, you're still 00. I didn't to make things up to do it properly because I've been working on the issue here, so that's okay. I think they're going to pay you time and a half. So if you're out there, it's just a big bonus.
I am here and go ahead. I'm around on 51.
All right, I will do that. Thanks for stopping by tonight. Also, we've got shortwave listener number 1. Also, number 2, Mr. OBP. It is showtime such that it is, I think. So hopefully the people on the video are getting all the audio, and I think it's not in the wacky tonight. We will find out about that. So thank you, number 2. Also, Rob, got him checked in via the Facebook. I see Levon, SWL5, is joining us on the chat room as well. Thank you, sir. And then this guy right here, SWL7.
Good evening to one and all. This is SWL number 7.
All right. And, you probably have to give Bones. He's got the audio device on his similar radio that you have. I mentioned that you probably have some of the best audio for that radio on the West Coast. So you'll have to give him some of the secret pointers on how it works. Anyway, you are sounding good.
Cool. I'll have to try that. We'll have to get a hold of Ron.
Very good. I'm on a different computer, so I'm scrolling down to see if Dwayne and Chrissy have stopped by from northern Idaho, where it's been raining here. Enough north, you're definitely going to be getting some snow if you're in the right spot. So 10 and 30, we'll make sure they get checked in. I'm not looking so dapper tonight in running around trying to get. I will defer to SWL 11 and 12, especially 12, Dapper Dan, who will be via proxy tonight the Dapper item of interest here. So at least my tie is semi straight. So hello, Cornbread, Dapper Dan. Thanks for joining us 11 and 12. If you're video, it's a thrown together clue. So there's one camera. I don't think there's any special effects or anything, but to get the stream up, I had to put some type of video up there. So after a minute or two, the best thing is probably just put a sheet over the pictures, so you won't have to look at me all evening. But just leave the chat window. Leave the chat window open so you can see. SWL 13, Mikey. You are probably out there if I refresh my comments and look in the right spot at the right time. 24 minutes ago, it says we'll get you checked in. Thanks for stopping by. Let's head out to Sanger. It is quiet here in Midtown Fresno. I'm not sure what's happening in Sanger, though. SWL 14.
Yeah, SWL 14 checking in, and it is a staticky, noisy condition here tonight. And I am awake. Unfortunately, I missed the last 2 sideband nets, and I've just been worn out lately. But I am here and looking forward to this evening.
All right, hope you can relax and maybe catch up on on the sleep in between, or maybe after. We hopefully won't go too long tonight, but radios, we will keep checking them in. You do sound chipper over the radio, so we wouldn't know unless you told us. We got you checked in and sounding good here in Midtown.
Yeah, thanks, Dennis. I brewed up some. Looking forward to this evening.
All right, good deal. Yeah, you want to stay rested. You definitely don't want to be getting sick. Let's go to SWL 1573. Hans is joining us. I see him over at oldtuberadio.net up in the balcony. He was moments ago. And then right here on the video that seems to be streaming sort of kind of tonight. Thanks for joining us. Some good conditions. I was hearing some European stations on 10 meters this morning. I didn't try to make a contact, but the band was open. What will happen tonight on 11 meters? We don't know. We'll see what we can get. Charlie is in SWL 16. Thanks for your help. I think we've got enough computers and wires. You've positioned the camera enough so you cannot see the desktop, and I'm glad about that because it's a little bit of a mess, but it seems to be working. Thanks for joining us tonight out there in beautiful and probably Minnesota or something like it. SWL 17. And I want to say hello to from Defiance, Missouri. Where is Defiance? Missouri is a cool place, including Defiance. Hoping the YouTube will behave tonight. We'll see, Dan. It's up and whether it will behave. Not sure. Also from Northwest Indiana and Grid Square Echo November 61. Hello to Alex, Quebec, Indiana, joining us tonight at oldtuberadio.net. I see that Robert 111 did get checked in, so we'll make sure that you are in there as well. Looking for SWL 18. I've got a note to get 18 checked in via the Facebook, which I will do. SWL 19. Chet is in again. When it's evening like this, we don't even do cue cards. It's just all live all the time. But I appreciate your help. And thank you for the bottled water. I'm going to need it. Thanks for checking. If Harvey is in the air chair, I'm not sure if he said he would be mobiling, listening, or what he was doing. SWL 20.
I am here. And please check in me, of course, 29 and 54. Also, just in case they can't get in through the stream or whatever, 10 and Chrissy, and number 30, Chrissy's other half.
Okay, 10 and 30. It's Dwayne and Chrissy. I think they've jumped in just yet. We have quite a few people listening in, looking in, so I will make sure they get the official check in. There might be some wacky weather going on there, but you are set. So hopefully there's a couple items of interest we can put on the tube radio list.
Roger, this one will be an item of interest. Okay. Catch you later.
All right, very good. Sounding good. I'll make some audio adjustments here. I'm just looking at the meters I have available, so hopefully we are close on that. SWL 21 JT, we were so busy, didn't have a chance to dial in, tune in, take any of the computers to see what was going on Old Radio Night tonight. I don't even know what the rig was or is, and not able to do the coast to coast. I was thinking about trying it, but one false move on the mouse could throw everything into jeopardy here. So we're just playing it safe and towing the line. So JT out there, South Carolina, the Wasama Swamps, Old Radio Night. I know you've got a good tube or transistor or a radio. I should say a vintage radio selection on the net tonight. Thanks for being in. There was virtually no skip. I was listening. There was hippopotamus in a few stations, but I didn't hear 295 coming in from. We'll put a hold on 22. SWL 23. 23 Skidoo is around somewhere, possibly for a proxy check-in. You never know. And who else is out there? Sparks, Nevada. Hello, Al, where he said it's cold and windy out in Sparks. Probably that way anywhere you go, unless you're in Hawaii, possibly. SWL 24, Joseph checked in early, as did SWL 25 from Madera Flats. I do have link to the crossband and echo link tonight. We'll give it a shot. How about SWL 27? SWL, see what Gary is up to. I know they're getting plenty of rain, probably more so than we are. He's about 100 miles to the north. In the storm cell, no doubt. The Gemtronics GTZ 5000, a Harvey special. Well, Harvey, if you're listening, you should look over or tune over to Old Radio Night and check out the GTZ 5000. They might still be going on the air there tonight. So give them a big hello radio.
Oh, I will. But he better look at the front of the radio.
It's probably a typo. It's probably a GTX. It says GTZ, but is the Z? Yeah, the Z and the X. Look at your keyboard. The Z and the X are right next to each other, and I have never had that fat finger mistake on my keyboard ever.
All righty. Yeah, I didn't catch the net or his, but he's working. All righty. We'll get back to you later.
All right. I know he's glad it's working too. Thanks for checking in. Hello, Gary, saying that it's taking it easy. Fell off a ladder. Oh no, 5 fractures on 2 ribs. Are you kidding? No, having a Coke with a straw. Maybe I'm not chuckling at you. Maybe a very, very long straw. Hopefully you're not in your body cast or something. And easy. That's the easy fall with only 5 fractures on 2 ribs. I don't even know what the hard fall is. And hopefully you didn't have any garden implements close by. All right, well, I think we have some Band-Aids and Bactine in the green room. Help yourself to that and get well. Recuperate soon. Charleston, South Carolina. Hello, Jed, UDX 183. Hello to you. One Tube, also listening in. Mountain Living, saying hello to FRES, capital N, capital O. You must have driven through here before. Directed net roll call is where we're at. Tube radios will be glowing in the dark. The old Tube Radio Network, an association of people all around the Central Valley here getting on the air. 1986. See if I can find my plaque around here. We're coming up on 40 years of on the air on Saturday evenings to promote the use and distribute information about CB. Good time, the way a lot of us remember that it was and still can be if you just take a little bit of time. Looking for, we've got a check in for SWL 29, also Dwayne SWL 30. I did see Robert and Teresa in earlier, SWL 31. They're out in Hendersonville, Tennessee. I was seeing if I could see their we got a weather report. What's going on out that way? But anyway, you guys, we've got you checked in. Said they were worried after no program. Well, it was technical difficulties, and you can see tonight we're just kind of limping I'm sorry that I'm like the only thing that's on the screen tonight. I apologize for that. So, but hopefully, I like to get up so the chat window, everybody's comments and everybody's has a good time there. So that's one reason to get the video up, even if you can ignore, put a towel over that part of the screen that has me on it. Let's go to SW. Shortwave listener 33. That's myself, Bozo Control, and just about everybody else that has something honking and wheezing around here. Jimmy out there, a railroader near Chicago, Illinois. I was trying to listen to my signal on an SDR out there this morning. I just couldn't quite make it to Chicago land. Jimmy is a busy guy with all the Facebook sites that he does promoting, whether it's railroading or radio. So make sure you check them out. And thanks, Jimmy, for all you do for the Tube Radio Network. Mr. Bill and the gang at Red Monkey Communications. Bill, I know it's cold somewhere in Cheyenne, Wyoming. All is going well with the Red Monkey Communications trailer and official stuff. Let's see if Chris is hanging around. SWL 37.
Proxy clear.
All right. I got a proxy for Mr. Go Boy. Thanks for that. From Byron, California, SWL 38. Sam, it's going to be get through because there's nobody to give you 10-5 from miles away. And there it is, 21. I find your post, the EX5000. Yeah, you typed it right. The Elkin 21625. I guess that's the little transistors in there, reverse preamp. And, of course, 21 is wishing, as we all are, a nice Thanksgiving. Everybody, even the turkeys out there. Hello to Ben-Hur Trucking. Thanks for joining us here on the old Tube Radio Network. Glad to have video back up. Who was out there? Ray, 488 in Gordon, Georgia. Saying hello, radio. I was listening. There's a SDR site. Something monkey. I think it's down in Louisiana. It has a great antenna. It's a great antenna for tuning in. Trying to get things like that. Albert and the crew, 256, one of the Squamish boys, saying hello to all the old Tube Radio Network operators, shortwave listeners, and I definitely won't have the wherewithal to jump in any SDR, so we'll rely on the conditions. Hopefully, maybe you guys can get in that way. Looking for SWL 39. SWL 40, I know you're out there.
This is 40, checking in.
All right, you are sounding good. Hopefully there were no leaks, no leaking items going on here this weekend.
Yeah, well, the high-speed rail folks, the construction crew actually accidentally hit the main water line, and the streets and the basement over.
Oh no! And I thought they were pretty good about knowing where all that stuff is. Well, maybe better the gas line and having the basement fill up with you know what. Well, hopefully they are able to lend a lot of assistance in taking care of that.
The gas line next week.
Well, hopefully not, and hopefully in the next 20 years they'll have it ready to go, and maybe we'll take a train ride somewhere and do a TR. Thanks for checking it.
Oh, by the way, you're looking and sounding good on YouTube. I like the high definition video.
Yeah, well, that's the new laptop, but it doesn't have any of the stuff I need on it. But I kind of kludged together, and that's just the little dinky camera on that. So you're saying it actually does have a little bit more. What's the word? Resolution. The 13-year-old computer.
Oh man, donate that to the museum.
I'm sure it can run something somewhere. All I have to do is change a few tubes in it. It will be good as new. Thanks for checking in. I also want to say hello to a couple of other stations that I missed here. I've got about 3 different Mises trying to maneuver here between all the computers, trying to make things to work. G Mopar UDX76, hello to you. Peter, of course, 428, checking in. Baba Booey from Parts Unknown. I don't know. I think, are you out? And he hope I'm staying dry. I hope you're staying dry. I'm not sure where you're at these days, but at least we're glad that you can check in. Steve has to turn his volume up all the way. Yeah, I apologize. I am running. I'm looking at the VU. I'm running like a minus 25, minus 30, and that is a no-no for streaming. But that's the best I could do to match all the levels. Figure out where my input source is. I didn't want to. Once I finally got some VU meters going, I was like, okay. And shouting doesn't help. So yeah, we're a good 10, 15 dB the audio, and I think it's below the fix-it point or YouTube or whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing. Let's see if Road Dog 507 is out there reacting all. In the Hudson Valley of New York, I believe it is. And thank you, Aaron, for the high fidelity. Whether it is or not, it always is good to put a little bit of hi-fi somewhere in the description of what it is that you're doing. SWL 44 checking in. We'll get you as well, Ray. I just saw you on there, so I'll jump ahead and get you checked in. Born and raised in Fresno, but kind of sneaking out when possible. Get it to the good side of town. SWL, let's go back a couple. SWL 42. Hello, Jerry.
Yeah, check in 42 in the gang.
We'll check in. Sounding good out. Hope there's no flooded basements where you guys are at.
Nice and dry, but we got the aluminum boat with the stainless steel whip ready to go.
Very, very good. All right. For that. As long as we don't have to build a boat. And Jim has called me out. He said, how could I not know those 1625s modulate the DX100 in full? I don't know. What's in my HT37? 1625s and the 4 CX250. That's in the Collins. That's in the Gold Dust Twin. I'm not familiar with 1625s. I must have been absent that day. I go back and check the syllabus and find out what I missed. So apologies to the aficionados for missing that one. Aaron says next week 4K. That's when we makeup department for the net controller if we're going 4K. Directed net roll call. We are looking for Crazy Eddie is in, Ray is in, Paul and Kelly up there in North Fork. Have a cool, clear, and some good air up there. Paul and Kelly, if you're listening in, stay dry. Have a great Thanksgiving, and thanks for checking out the old Tube Radio Network. Speaking about staying, how about SWL 47, hopefully not out in the Radio Cabana. Trying to check out the Radio Cabana. SWL 48, Sam. I'm getting Sam checked in. He sounded good last night on the Ditchbanks sideband net. Smitty and Sweet Country Mama, SWL 49, Hello Radio.
Hey, very good evening, Dennis. Mr. Smitty here, 49er, and Sweet Country Mama checking in. Wishing everybody a wonderful Thanksgiving, your families, and hope everyone is doing well. Thank you for the check-in.
All right, you're sounding good. 10 over signal. Looking, that's what I don't have tonight. I don't have the. Is that even possible? No, I don't have the camera up on the S meter. But if I did, you'd be putting in the red, which you are. Thanks for checking it.
Hey, thanks again.
And let's see what else is going on. John, 128 says he's got nothing on the OTR connection. Anyway, checking in on YouTube. I see you. I thought I saw you earlier on 30 minutes ago. You were on the .net site. That's about the only thing that still is working correctly, I think, around here. or maybe not. It's that table on that computer. Let's go to shortwave listener 51. Dave checked in as 00 yet again. I think next week he'll be off the hook. He owned his vacation for 2 weeks so he could be there at the beginning of the net. We appreciate that. Got you checked in, Dave. SWL 52. I'm calling 52 because I have no idea. I'm looking around the room to which S meter I'm going to be looking, or if I need to be looking at the computer, or all three. Here we go.
Okay, well, here's transmitter number 1, and there's transmitter number 2. From behind the golden microphone, SWL 52.
I like the way you added that. Just like the best little chorus on Sunday morning when you come in with all the the baritones and tenors and all that. A little bit of flange, and you were also chatting with me on the site as well. 52, you are checked in, and that was the best part about the HD tonight is coming in on 3 different sources thing. SWL 53, did the legend check in early? Did I miss you, Bob? Are you still there?
I'm still here. Good evening, Dennis. Yeah, 53 checking in on the outskirts. A happy gobble gobble to all those CBers that are listening, and I'm back quiet, 73s.
All right, thanks, Bob. Yeah, there's actually a lot of people listening here in the Central Valley. We got people connected at oldtuberadio.net on the Universal Media Net Web over on the video, which is up tonight. Another 50, 60, or 70 people there. So all enjoying what is going on here tonight. And hopefully we are motivating to do something similar on some night with some type of radios to get back on the air and get on. Put away the phone for a second, turn off the television, and get down. And thank you, Bob. SWL 54's got a proxy check in. Up the hill for M&M, SWL 55.
55 checking in from a warm and wet hilltop.
Yeah, I checked. Even at 7,000 feet up at Lodgepole, I don't think they were getting any snow. So at least this storm is a warmer one.
Yep, it's nice and warm and wet. I can't barely hear you.
All right. Well, I didn't look. My antenna could be lying in a big puddle. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you.
And under the shade of it must smell great over there when the rain kind of washes the dust off of all those cedar trees. It is a good thing. SWL 56.
Good evening, Dennis. Feeling rather cedarious tonight.
That's good. And if there's anything you have to take for that, it will sort of work itself out. Sounding good. And thanks for checking in. Going to Central Kentucky for SWL. He's checking in. Orange County React, Hudson Valley, New York. That's the one. I think I misspoke before. And letting everyone know that they should be having a great Thanksgiving. So thanks. We will certainly try that. And I'm just reading Ron's comment about glasses. We've got the 3D audio going, but I never have quite got 3D video. I'm looking at it on a little tiny screen, and it looks to me, it looks. I see meat. It looks pretty awful. To SWL 58. I know, Ron. I'm just gonna put a question mark. I put a question mark for Jeremy. Next time he comes into town, record him somehow so we can get his voice checking in. Speaking of checking in, Uncle Hairball checking in right now. I saw the check marks go up as I looked over to the chat window. UDX 6, SWL 59, and probably some other names as well we don't even know about. Thanks, 59, for joining us here on the Old Tube Radio Network. From the good old DX2527, Mr. 291, and continuing the tradition, Mr. Hustler, SWL 60.
Thank you much, here, Dennis. A couple of things for you here. Colorado, which is good. Hopefully we can get this game. We need it. I don't know if Chris checked in. I'd like to check him in. He's not feeling very well. He's got their doctor on the phone there, and he's really sore from his operation there, and he's going to need some more time. He asked me to check him in, and I'd like to check in myself. We all 60.
All right, we got those check-ins, and yeah, I got Chris with an X in the square if he's listening or watches the video here. Definitely get checked in. You're sounding good. Thanks for the report. And Steve Areno from Bob and Steve mentioned that the Fresno State 7-7. That was second. So we might be in halftime. So the game is, it has possibilities.
They do. Dennis, they do. I know Colorado has a few games on us, but they no telling. The state's got life, and they just might take this game. Okay, Dennis, now let's channel on.
All right, thanks. Thanks for checking in. This is the Old Tube Radio Network. Real Radios Glowing in the Dark are coming up. Shortwave listening to them now from near and far out. My name is Dennis, one of the many net controllers to sit in the air chair of the Old Tube Radio Network, a thing that happens here in the Central Valley of California on Saturday evening, where a group of like-minded individuals who want to get on the air and have a good time and also get a chance to drive their tube radios around the block, show in Chrome and honk the horn a little bit. We'll be doing that coming up in moments. Looking on my list. Who is next? Dino. I heard Dino. I was like, couldn't get back to the radio when he said, where is OTR? So if you're listening, Copenhagen, you are definitely checked in.
61, checking in, Dennis.
All right, 61, sounding good. Thanks for jumping back into the air chair in Santa Lo Radio.
Oh, you guys all have a happy Thanksgiving.
All right, we'll do it. I'm going to try and look over at my meters. Oh, yeah, wait, you know what? I need to make an adjustment. Hold on. Anyway, we'll be right back. I don't know what it is about some of these controls here. I also need to make a note. I think part of it is the water. You actually see me doing this now. Normally, I try not to do this while we're on the air, but sometimes it's a necessary thing. All right, I'm going to make one more adjustment here. Yeah, it's hard to do in this suit. It's we've got it. All right, back to the directed net roll call, SWL 62. Shortwave listener 63. North Georgia, we got 60. Did Craig make it in? Out of Wisconsin, SWL 64. I will check all the sites and pages. Wisconsin came in earlier. Yep, there he is right there. Thank you, Craig. You made it easy. I just had to look right in front of me, and the X is in the square. Notice I don't have confirmation checking in thing, because that is just not available on this link up through the computer, I don't believe. So I don't want to break anything. Craig is in. How about SWL 65? Also, Santa Lu Radio, Rusty Rails Central in, saying thanks for the net on Saturdays, and my thanks to those who take time out of their Saturday to jump in and make a net and give us some tube radios and all that stuff. SWL 66. Shortwave listener 67, about 40 minutes ago. Bill checking in from Canby, Oregon. I see you on the screen. Hello, radio to you. Have a proxy check-in for Michael, SWL 68, out in New York. And Kenny in Tulsa. I would have to scroll way back, because Kenny usually likes to get in before the crowds and all of that. So, Kenny, if you are in, yeah, looks like you're there. Get you checked in. I got to be very careful. It's a very sensitive touch screen. If you touch the wrong thing, which I often do, takes you to places near and far out. WL 70. I wonder if Mark is surviving all the rain up there. SWL 71. Stan. I saw Stan checking in earlier over at the is going on. Not much of anything. He checked in early, so I bet there's some things going on. I know there's a CW contest. I heard some sideband guys complaining that the CW were wrecking the ionosphere, making the conditions bad. Now, I don't know. How can you do that with your J38 key? Anyway, go for it. If you're gonna tap out stuff, go do it. I think there's some type of contest going on. Let's go to SWL 72. Here's a guy that can tap out some CW. I remember John, SWL 7. John checked in, and they had a QLF in the Q code. Anybody know what the Q code for QLF? That stands for left foot. They used to have this giant code key, Fresno Hamfest, and they would give an award out for the person who could do the best Morse code CW on the left-footed code key. I guess you'd take off your shoe, and tap out whatever you wanted on the key with your left foot. And there were some judges there. I don't know if they liked you. They give you a prize, and I remember John won it a couple of times. WL 74, Miss Julie is checked in. Over to Red Fox 1, FWL 76. I have no idea what my email is no longer working. How it goes. You fix something and something else breaks. It's a never-ending cycle. It's that 21st century never-ending cycle of chasing the electronic stuff. Let's go. Here's a guy that will chase the electronic stuff, but then he will put it all away and go do something really good that's sort of like you detox. I know how it is. SWL 77.
Good evening, Dennis, and all the listeners. Good to hear you out here, and hope everybody's staying dry. 77 on the peanut whistle. Checking in. Everybody have a great Thanksgiving.
Will do it. Good to have you in the air chair. Good. Putting in a good signal as always here on the Old Tube Radio Network.
Roger, Roger.
From Wet Wild, Will DeMar, Richard, SWL 78. Sometimes I'll hear him on the 40-meter nets. And the morning, but I haven't heard him. So I will put a proxy check in there. How about Mr. DC? He might be lurking about SWL7. Oh, no, I know he was out there. I'll put the X in the square. Page 4, SWL. And Steve Areno's joining us here tonight. They're working on the limos too. I think we're going to be delivering a lot of turkey and some great Thanksgiving Day meals. We're going to pack up both the red and blue limousines and get some distribution going on around here. Sounds good. Stay tuned for that. SWL 82. I hear Ron doing some testing or something, so I wonder if he's still around. Hello 82.
Yeah, 82 checking in, and good evening, and hey, they're on the screen there tonight, Dennis. Looks like you got it up and running there.
Yeah, right at the last moment. It's just everything kind of came together and all the audio problems stopped, and it's not time to do anything fancy. So again, I apologize for just having that one thing, that one thing on the screen. But other than that, we're having a good time. The voice you just heard, again, because I'm going to require him to take another transmission, is the voice you will hear if you jump into your radio station, your radio room on Friday evenings at 8 p.m. and dial up, or is it dial down to 65 lower sideband for the Ditch Banks sideband net. Ron does a great job. He's got a great station, and get you checked in and really have some rag chew chat after the net. Always some topics there, and that's the Ditch Banks sideband. And you were sounding good, Ron, with the audio board yesterday.
Thank you. So yeah, still messing around with it, and yeah, we'll see what we come.
All right, well, the controls, it just doesn't take much. I mean, with those radios, even the supplied little hand microphonium does a good job. So if you can add a little extra flavor in with EQ and compression or whatever you're doing, it doesn't hoit. Thanks for checking in. Out in Ohio, Mr. JZ, I'm looking to see, update my page to Plymouth, Minnesota, Centerville, Virginia, Yellow Springs, Ohio, San Ramon in California, Newcastle, Virginia, Tracy up there in California. Got a great Edmonton, Alberta, York, Pennsylvania, Sacramento, Fresno, Belfast, Maine, and a host of others tuning us in. We're trying to tune us in, I guess. SW, I don't have it. I will, if I don't get it, I'll show it next week. The 30-year pack for OTR, courtesy of SWL 84, 86, 87, and 88. That's Cheerios Kid, Mount Maiden, Tandy Girl, and the who, I don't know, in the almost 40 years that we've been doing this, checked in a lot of radios, and great SWLs, Paula and Tandy and Shauna, listening to the radio check-ins. Let's go to SWL 88. I'm sorry, SWL, we did 88, SWL 89. I do have my list. I'm not faking it here. I'm not making this up. Let's go to Mr. Felix, SWL 91. See if I wasn't able to get a link. I can put a link for the video if you go to the .net page, and I had to email it to myself because it won't transfer between the computers, and then the email stopped working. So it's, who was Rosanna Dana used to say, it's always something. And Felix, you got everybody checked in. We got the radio, we got Bozo, we got the kiddies, we got the turkeys, and everybody. Felix, he's one who never forgets your birthday, even if you want to. Thanks, Felix. Let's go to Mr. Roman, SWL 92. And I know there's no connection going, so Mr. Roman, don't go away. I will get you checked in when it pops up on the screen. Beautiful Orlando, Florida, checking in. Warthog 95. They're in four land. I hope to hear you guys at some point. 40 meters has been going on really long in the evenings. You can't talk less than 1,000 miles after about 8 or 9 o'clock. So might hear some of your stations out there. Like this guy, Jim in Boston. Hello, radio. He's hanging out in the Radio Shack. He's got the transistors fired up. He's got the tubes fired up. I don't know what other radios you've got. You might have one of those. Was it KW1? One of those big broadcast transmitters with the 500-pound modulation transformer. Just waiting to pounce on some frequency. 20, he's shaking his head. Yeah, 27025 possibly. Let's go to, thanks, Jim. Let's go to SWL 98. Chip says, what's a transistor? I don't know. They're expensive when you blow. Tracy, let me get Tracy checked in. Tracy, if you're watching the video or not, or at some point you are checked in. Yeah, I apologize for not having the video confirmation, but we are doing it the old-fashioned way. I've got the paperwork here. They required at the end of the program, end of the net, I'm required to turn it in, or I get some type of merits. I have to go to the front office and talk to somebody. Let's go to Radio Randy, SWL 99. Talked to Randy a couple nights ago on 75 meters out of the Cape Creek, Arizona sounding. He was on, what was he on? He was on one of the ICOM radios. Randy, got you checked in. Let's see, I'm checking. Oh, am I on? Yeah, the is maybe working. It says it's working, but typically we would be chatting with Mr. Tony out in McClellanville, South Carolina. He runs our activation for 2. Maybe he was doing that right now. So, Tony, if you're listening in, we'll get you checked in. Over to Scranton, Arkansas, or somewhere close by for John, Mr. 102, checking. And I just noticed, even your little, what do they call it, meme? What is that thing next to your name? Jim's got 97. How do you do that? People who actually know how to, they actually know how to run their computer stuff. Someday. Let's go to Joey, 103. Joey's checked in. Saying 73s to all the shortwave listeners, members, and friends, and hoping everyone has a great Thanksgiving. Going 10-7, 10-8, 10-10. And maybe, all right, Joey, we got you checked in. I see you on the screen this evening. Up the hill. Let's see if we can get a big signal from Auberry tonight. SW.
Good evening, Dennis. Crawdad 109 checking in.
All right, thanks for being patient. I think the band is kind of quiet tonight, so you don't have to listen to too much noise, except all of us down here in the flatlands. Good. Thanks for jumping in.
Well, thank you, Dennis. You're sounding good too tonight.
Okay, well, I'm feeling good, sounding good, and that must mean it is good. So thanks for jumping to the old tube. Shortwave listener 110. And 102. I see you. I see you there, John. Got you checked in. Over to 111 checked in earlier. From Reedleytown. SWL 113 from Sanger. And Mr. Rickshaw, SWL 114.
Mr. Rickshaw, 114 checking in.
114, the X is in the square. Thanks for joining us on your old tube radio network tonight.
Thank
From Fairfax, Virginia, 128. I don't know what is happening on the digital side. John. Something I'm doing, I apologize with the wacky stuff that's going on, but you did show up on the screen here for an official check-in, so no problem else. I saw you on the there you are. You are right there, so not a problem at all. Work on the lighting around here. SWO 128. One of the stations that when we started going streaming, and I think that was I was looking at the archives. It was like 2011. John was the first one to. I don't know how people even found what was going on with that. But let's go to SWL 131. Shortwave listener 133. And is it too wet to be in the Radio Shack tonight? 135. I think I was told to put a proxy check in for Mr. Cliff, which I will do. Tony up in Corsgold checked in earlier, 145. SWL 147. I think I saw Neil checking in earlier. I will make sure that is the case. Put an X in the proper square. Mr. Snowbeast Jr., SWL 188. Hello, Bobby, if you're listening.
Good evening, Tom Dennis. Good evening, Tom all SWLs. 188 checking in.
And sounding good for joining us here on the Old Tube Radio Network tonight.
10-4 evening time.
And Mr. Shockwave, SWL 226. I think it says he's out in Madeira somewhere. It's usually in the mobile when and if he checks in. And the breaker, whoop. I know that breaker. It's like, this is the egg on the face. Let's try SWL 195.
Yeah. Let's jump in here.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna you're not gonna believe it's true. Because of how I'm sitting here tonight, because I've got the computers all over the place, I've got my tie. I kid you not. And I just looked down. It was over the paper and outlining 88, and then I pulled the paper down, and then 226 showed up. So you were underneath my tie.
And I do that every now and then.
Okay. Well, I should remember that by now. All right, we got you officially checked in. Thanks for joining us. I will be stepping away for a second, and we will get ready for the tube radios coming up in a minute. But before I do that, anybody else that needs to check in that might have been under my tie? Oh, and I said Columbus, Ohio. To SWL 31 checking in from Ohio. There's some songs about that, so we got you checked in. Yeah, Wagon Master. The only reason there's a new camera angle is a new camera on the computer that I had to throw together because the old one I didn't get the power supply in time. And really, there's no room to put it in a good shot, and I apologize for hogging all the shots here. So I figured maybe I could give people some interesting blinky lights to look at. Otherwise, just throw a towel over it so you can see the comments and nothing else. Back in a moment for the tube radio. All right, Hans, 73 to you. Thanks. Always impressed that you can come and join us here so far away. But go do what you need. When we will look for you next week. We will be here, should be here next week. Let me do white balance. Let's do a white balance. I could get. That's bad. I couldn't get the camera to controls to play. So that's what we got. All right, I am back. It could be slow tonight. The weather is such that you kind of want to be hanging around where it's warm and cozy. Now, if that's the radio room where your tube radios are, that's a good thing. Are still playing and hopefully doing well. In the meantime, we'll be hanging out here, channel 1127-085, listening for and talking about your old tube radios. OTR's listening. My noise monitor doesn't work very well. I can't see my audio stuff. Audio check here, radio testing. But I know what the stream has plenty of sound. I still don't know why. Oh, wait a minute. I don't know why I can't get the sound out of the. It is cranked all the way out. That's okay. I'd go in direct. As Scotty would say, I'm giving it all we got, Cap. So I have to do show and tell. See, this is good when there's nothing else I could be holding up little visual aids. Where's the box? Oh yeah, hold on. The box of stuff here. While we're waiting for jump in on their radios. Here's the box. You can't see it right inside the box of stuff. From Frank. If you're listening, Frank, these are so cool. The extremecb.com. It says right. The world's biggest refrigerator magnets for mud ducks and everybody else. That's some of those shirts. If I had a metal, it would just be stuck up there. What else? There's some other. I think we went through this yesterday. We got Skittles. We got. I'm assuming these are some type of little cake decorating things for your mud duck. You know, when you celebrate the mud duck, maybe when they kiss that 111 guy. Oh, and here's more. There's more. Like the smaller mud duck sticker affixed to the Buick. All right, I'm going to put these there. And not to be outdone. Oh, this is interesting. This is from who has a Dave made amplifier? I don't. But a lot of people do. The Jersey Shore 007. Dave made amplifier. It's a cool card. The hammer hits hard with the Dave fans. Doing that stuff that he does. Oh, and this strawberry watermelon naturally flavored vitamin and like that's the breakfast of old tube radio operators everywhere. And we are standing by listening for radio check-ins, the old tube radio network. Hey, Joe, I've got a spot just for you, right next to where it says number 1 on the radios. Go ahead, sir.
We thank you much, here, Dennis. Dennis, I'd like to check in this evening. My Robin 1D.
Good deal. Now, I can put, if you're at oldtubeраdio.net, I can get the pictures of the radios there. So anybody new who's listening or checking in, perhaps, if you are interested in what it is, what it looks like, the radio that sitting in front of, I'm going to put up a picture over, just type in oldtuberadio.net, and it should pop up any moment as we hear it now. Take a transmission.
Thank you much, here, Dennis. Dennis, we have 11 tubes. 23 channels plus some extra channels. The radio is in very nice shape. At the moment, we're on a handheld original Robin microphone. Dennis Harvey's gonna look at my gray base D104 so we can get it in line with this Robin.
Audio sounds good with the original microphonium. I'm thinking a D104 is probably going to make that radio sound good. As you know, I mean, even the blue microphone, if the radio is blue, the microphone is blue, it's going to sound good as well. They're doing night. I got the picture up of the Rob 123B, the green machine. I would say the top of the line for accessories on that Panasonic number 2 chassis. You've got every light and every that you could have there.
Yeah, Dennis, I'm looking at the front of this radio. Always amazed how they were able to, line up everything the way they have it lined up. On the radio, above the microphone jack, you have your PA. You have your external speaker button. PA button, and in the middle of the radio, you've got your external PA light, modulator, PA light. Just features amazing all over the face of this radio. It's so pretty to look at. It's like a teal green or something. Very light on the front. The body might have been repainted. Might have been, I'm not sure, but the color on the front plus the knobs have that little teal color to them right in the middle of the knob.
And not to mention, that's what's on the outside. What's on the inside is just a great radio. I believe it's 11 tubes. I want to say they've set it up for plate modulation. 11 tubes. There's 2 transistors, I do believe, because you can take it mobile, so that's got some type of DC to DC conversion. If you go to oldtuberadio.net, it says Robin PD, an operator's manual and the schematics. So if you need more information, if you don't have the Sam's photo fact, and I don't have the number of what it might be, there's some info that way. And it's 17 pounds of good stuff. Take a transmission. You are our first radio tonight. Let you get back to the game if it's still going, which I think it is, and joining us. But let's hear that radio one more time.
Okay, Dennis, all right. I really appreciate it. Let me check this one in. Yeah, we're going to get back to the game. Of course, we've got a couple of warming. The game is running about. I think it's still running. I think it's still in half. Not even in halftime. Still the second quarter. 7:21 is the score. 21 Fresno State, Colorado. But appreciate it, and Dennis, thanks a lot. We'll get another one going.
Is the range boost on?
Yeah. Harvey, I've got it on.
Okay. Your D104 was ready. I called you, left a couple messages. You could pick it up and put it right.
Okay. Doggone it, that's really good news there, Harv. Man, you're amazing.
Who was it,
Let's just
JT?
leave it at that. You're amazing.
How about that? But anyway,
JT, I'm reading your comments.
it's ready. You can pick it up anytime and put it on that radio. Bye.
Okay, thanks, Harvey.
That's great. We will look forward to listening to that, and you'll be able to hear it on the playback shelf to kind of jockey things around, but do it. And JT gave me a comment, says I look younger. That's the thing. When you get the high definition, you have to go into the makeup, but is you need to compare yourself with something. So I will compare myself to the mud duck. If I compare myself to the mud duck, I do indeed maybe look a bit better, and that's not bad for having a birthday this month too. Thanks, Joe, and thanks, Harvey. Always nice to know that we can pair the microphonium and the radio and have good stuff. And hello to Brian, Whiskey Radio 2356 up there in BC Rocky, saying hi. There is, between here in the Central Valley at night on 40 meters and southern Alberta, British Columbia, there is I guess it's a near vertical incident, whatever it is, the NVIS thing. And I can take a wire and 5 watts, hearing myself in California, in Nevada, in Montana, in the big SDR in Utah, and I will go to the southern Alberta, the BC, and I'll be 10 some type of up and down cloud things. You guys got great propagation up there in southern part of Canada. The L2 Radio Network, real radios glowing in the dark. We are listening for radio number 2. And 14. I want to say hello to a couple stations just checked in. Birmingham, is that Michigan, looks like? And the 48009 zip code. We're way out here in the 9300s. And 92411 out there in San Bernardino also listening in. Well, let's go to Sanger. From Bernardino to Sanger and say hello for radio number 2. Take a transmission.
Well, my conditions have deteriorated out here this evening, and I can barely get a copy on you, but check in my Johnson Messenger 223, and I'm on the stock microphone with this Johnson Messenger, and this radio does have channels, so it'll go well above 23. In fact, it'll even go above 40. So it's got pretty decent modification on it, but it's a rough radio. It's ugly. It looks like it spent its life on the porch through the rain and everything. So back to you.
Well, those who were built like tanks, there's a lot of and metal. I don't think there's too much plastic on there. You do want to keep. The bad thing is what it's convection cooling on the case. So if it does stay out in the rain, that's not kind of a good thing. You want to wrap it in plastic or put a tarp over it. Sure, sounds good. Yeah, maybe you've got a neighbor with some LED lighting or something going on. I have that too sometimes. I found out around here that there are certain lights I have to turn off when I'm doing the net. Otherwise, it adds extra interference on the radio. So maybe there's something like that going on. But the E.F. Johnson 23 maybe doesn't look so good to you, but it's sounding good to us. We've got a picture at oldtubeраdio.net, not of your radio, but a likeness of one. If you can hear me take another transmission, you sound really good.
Yeah, actually started getting a little bit better received. This radio has a meter that goes 0 through 5, and so I had you at a 0.5 on the needle that time. It was at 0 previously, so maybe it just needed exercise. And the lights, I could definitely see some of that with the holidays going on here. But yeah, typically I have a great road on here, but tonight not so much. Now, you did mention getting hot, and right about that time it dawned on me I had my television remote on top of this thing, and right in the spot on the corner there, it gets smoking hot. So I'm glad I that rang a bell and I reached over and grabbed it because it probably would have melted it. But yeah, the radio's working, and I love the way this microphone with the radio, the original microphone, they got it right the first time, so no need to experiment with this radio. And appreciate the time for the Johnson Messenger 2.
I appreciate you bringing it around. I'm gonna have to have a table until I get my video back, a little show and tell. Because I have a Johnson 223 here. I get to kind of hold it up to the camera, let everybody see what was going on. But it's sounding perfect. And Johnson had a good 10 years to perfect that radio in that form. Obviously, before that time, they were making the 80-pound Rangers and Viking 2s and Ranger 2s. And so they pared it down for CB radio, but they still did get with the Messenger and the Messenger 2, and then the 2 with all channels, all crystals. I think it's crystal controlled, so it's interesting. They must be doing some switching on one of the multiplier crystals to move things around. I can't imagine that they would be some type of chip in it, but they could. So that's pretty good. I can't remember too many of those being modified. So you've got a rare item there. Radio number 2, the E.F. Johnson Messenger 223. I think it's Minnesota. It's sounding good. Take one more transmission, and maybe we'll get you on the list again. But thanks for getting us radio number 2 over.
Yeah, it's definitely a rare thing, the way they've got the switch on there. And it kind of reminds me of my 56 Ford pickup, the knob that's on there. It's like black looking Bakelite type style knob. And it's a little modification. It's in like an aluminum box. And I'm sure Harvey knows what kind of wizardry went into it to get it to work. But I have tried it, and it definitely gets all kinds of extra. Yeah, hopefully I can get another one warmed up and it'll have a good enough receive. I'll check another one in. Thanks, Dennis.
Thanks. Good. Again, good sounding audio. Good sounding audio tonight. Doing quite well. If 56 Ford, does the 56 have the factory radio in it? Does it have that round radio in there?
It does. It actually has a big round dial like a clock that comes through the dash, and then it has like 2 knobs that stick through as well. So it's a one of a kind radio, and even my 55 has the same radio. So you would have to modify the dash if you're going away from that. But yeah, that's what the knob reminds me of there. So kind of a funny little thing about it.
All right. You know, the 55 Fords had the round radio, and they had the heater controls and the round surround. Cool cars. And I'm not familiar with the trucks. I just want to make sure they did as well. So nice stuff. Thanks, Radio 2 and Messenger 223. I'm hearing an echo. I don't know if it's the way things are. So hopefully if there's an echo going on, it's not too annoying to whoever might be listening. Who might be listening right now? Station says Steve Areno letting us know that the Bulldogs at halftime have done a good thing. They've raised the score, and they're sitting at 28-7 from halftime. So it's got another go on that. So hopefully they can keep on chugging along. And also from, and I mentioned this earlier, I had a nice chat with Radio Randy out at Cape Creek, and he is joining us, listening in here. It is perfectly quiet. We did not have 10 meters was open, as you probably know today, but as soon as the sun went down, the gray line went away. We have not heard anything from stations on the far outside. So thank you for making the digital connection and joining us here. You sounded great a couple of nights ago on, if I said 40, I meant 75. The Old 2 Radio Network, such that it is. I'm just glad that we got everything kind of up and running from the computer meltdown, but it is a good thing. We're listening for radio number 3. And the mud duck. Wait,
60.
oh, it's right here. Sorry, Joe. I was giving a little honk of the mud duck, and I was trying to figure out where the microphone was, and I was like, oh, it connected to my face. Sometimes you just forget. Anyway, you are Radio 3.
Thank you much, sir, Dennis. I'd like to check in my Johnson 223. I was listening to the other one the fellow was talking on, and boy, sure sounded good. All 23 channels on this one, Dennis. Volume and squelch situation on the front. Nice speaker on the front of this radio, and I hope I sound half as good as that other fella.
Yeah, that other fella way out there in Sanger. Super nice audio, not overdone. Good fidelity, and it's the E.F. Johnson, and likewise, your audio is nice. You're doing it right, not overdone. I'm going to switch to radio.net since the video is broken on the main thing here, and you're just seeing me. But anyway, I'm going to switch radios. We've got a couple of different E.F. Johnson 223 photos, Johnson Messenger 223. So the one we're showing is the one that I think it's the later version. It has the modulation light in the front. They brought it out to the front. But were you to have a Believe in look something like what we just put up there, nice and clean, still the same, but no modulation light up on the front. Were you to have the Sears version? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the Sears version had the light. Take a transmission, Joe, on the 223, sounding good.
Yeah, 10-4, doggone it. No light, Dennis. No modulation light. That's what I was wondering if Sean had a modulation. His. Yeah, no light on this one, but other than that, good looking radio. I'm looking right at the front of it. Kind of reminds me of an old 65 Buick. The top of the radio, the old chrome strip on the top. Nice looking little radio, but all 23 channels, and well, that'll do it for this one, Dennis. I'd like to finish watching the game, and I've got another one warming up, and once again, that radio Sean has, that's good sounding radio.
It is just like yours. John's was pretty good. They had great receivers. They knew how to build a transmitter, so they just pared down their good stuff they made for ham radio guys, kind of toned them back, but they kept them simple. They what the 11-meter Class D citizen radio service was about. So make it clear, make it easy to use, and it will sell, and also keep the price points not to be. Build it like a tank, and we'll be talking about them in 2024. Radio number 3 sounds great. Wanted to make a comment. Jim 7 mentioned he just got his Starduster up. So is that one of the original old ones you put back together, or do they still sell those? I think the designator was an M400, but they're not made by, was it Antenna Specialists? Whoever makes them now, they're slightly different on the angle, but they're still true to, it's a quarter wave vertical, really. I think that's what it is. And some people say that can be the antenna for doing DX if you mount it right, and I don't think it has any loading coils or anything, so I'm not sure what the power handling capability is, but it's easy to tune once you get it put up in the air. The old tube radio for radio number 4. And no matter what I do, I cannot get rid of that noise. Noise blanker does not take out that pulse noise. Show and tell here tonight. We can do a microphone. Where are the microphones? Could I change? I don't know. I could change that. Maybe I'll. Hang on. Jump out chair. How hard would that be? Oops. All right, I'm going to do something. I'm going to change microphones using the headset, the Sennheiser headphoniums, and I'm going to change to what looks like, if you're on the video, this is like a Neumann TLM 103. It would be a good mic. That it's a never mind. I just realized. I believe this is going to require phantom power supply, which I have, but it's going to be too difficult. Let's see. Let me do something else here. The PR40 is a dynamic. So we'll switch over to the PR40. I think that's easy to do because I have my my headphone plug right here.
It's with the microphone swap, put 14 on the list.
I will do that. 14 is on the list for radio number 4. I've got to hold the microphone in my. It sounds a little brighter. Maybe it sounds better. I don't know. But it's a nice big diaphragm microphone. That's the PR40 with a little bit of closeness and about a foot away, not EQ'd for anything. And then I'll switch back to the small little dynamic element, and we'll be back for your Radio 4. We are connected. So, hello, Sangertown, over.
Well, hello. I had to fire up a Browning, which has a much finer receive, and I'm on the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB
Levels of audio.
the Harvey special. He brought back alive. It was infested with Swisher Sweet smoke, and it would literally make you sick. It smelled so bad, but I burned it all out, and everything seems to be functioning fine. It also the giant hole drilled in the receiver with a red knob, the Bozo control knob, which doubles the ping, so I can really get in there and make sure that it's my Screaming Eagle. This radio is also on an unamplified gray bass D104.
Probably the best choice, Browning, because you start having to do the amplification, and you got to go inside and turn things down. Not the case here. Sounds great on the headphoniums. I always listen to the replay back and see how things sound. I'm going through the different computer tonight. I know the audio levels are low on the replay, but they should be true to form. The Golden Eagle, and I wrote down Mark III, and I'm thinking, I know you got a Mark IV, but it is the Mark III, right?
Yeah, that is correct. The Mark III. Another thing I'll note about my Mark III is it's a really homemade looking casting. They must have been at the end of the run on that mold, and this eagle looks like he has crawdad legs instead of eagle talons, and he doesn't have much form to his body. So this radio has a lot of character, and I really like it. I've preferred to keep it over much shinier looking Mark.
There is probably a story about that. Like you said, a production run, or they ran out and they had to pull some ones that they didn't make it on the conveyor belt for, like, what's wrong with that one? They threw it in the box. It's like, well, it's have to go out. Interesting. I have to talk to Jimmy, SWL34. He's got a lot of stories about Browning Laboratories and Gar Green and what they did and didn't do. And I'm sure there's probably a story behind that. You're orchestrating the ping quite well. It sounds good. I don't think it's overdone. I know there's some people that if it's anywhere at all, it says, not so much. And there's people that say, give me more. But I think you're doing it just about right.
Yeah, it's fun every once in a while, and but it does get if you're having a conversation, I find myself stepping on the ping all the time because you're wanting to talk and not sit there and wait for it to die out. But you have amazing audio. The receive is excellent, and the Browning is quite the gold standard for audio as far as I'm concerned. But it's a Browning Golden Eagle Mark III. I've got a good copy on you, even with these crummy conditions.
Mark III SSB. I know some people who have put that receiver up against their, $1,000 or $3,000-$4,000 ham radio receiver. Turn it to 11 meters and do an A/B comparison, and either there's not much difference the way the Browning sounds, just because I think the Browning was able to get things just tuned in for that particular band. And I think I related this story before. In my early CB days, when all I had was a 100 milliwatt walkie-talkie and I was in high school and running wires out the window, there was one station down in Southern California where I lived that could hear me, and the guy wasn't down the street. The walkie-talkies after about 5 blocks, but we wouldn't be able to hear anything. This guy was a mile and a half away, and he would able to hear me. And he had a Mark II, the only station, and there's stations closer by with Johnsons and T-Berries. Never could hear me, but the Browning Mark II receiver, my little 20 Amazon Channel 11, by the way, 27085 walkie-talkie out of the mud. So I always had respect for them, even at a very young age. Thanks for radio number 4. It's sounding good.
I've fired up several modern radios, and nothing brings you out of these muddy waters like this Browning receiver does. So thanks for the time tonight, Dennis.
All right, thank you. So if I didn't mention it, Richard, in probably wet Wildomar, I don't know if you guys in Southern California got the rains that we've been having as a sweet coast and down the state. But it's kind of a warm rain, as you heard the guys up at 5,000 feet not getting any snow, and it's quite warm. So Richard got you checked in. Also saying, that was tonight. Maybe they're watching here on the West Coast. Although, you know what, they couldn't see a thing because we've got clouds tonight. But occasionally, if I stand on my roof and it's clear, I can actually over 100 miles away. Straight line. I could see the Vandenberg launches. You'll see the trail going up. So Richard says they got another successful launch and landing of the first stage. Can you believe that? Drive down the road and they can't make a traffic signal that will fence the traffic on both sides of the street and the turn lanes and make that more efficient. That can't seem to be done, but yet they're now doing the rocket launch and then bringing back the pieces, that parking itself. And I know, it's like, can you believe this? I don't know. And the tube radios got it right 50 years ago. No modifications there.
Some do have modifications.
Yeah, there are. I've noticed the smart signals sometimes at night it'll sense that you're there and let you go. It's probably really expensive. That's why they don't have them all over the place.
Yeah, modification, kind of like an airplane on my radio here, is the General Radio Telephone Super MC12 with the custom fan bracket. Those fans spinning away right now.
Is the fan? I'll bring up. I've got a shot of the 12, but I don't think I've a rear shot. Is it on the? Some of the radios had a space for a fan, but they didn't put it in. And I know with that radio and that final tube, and the fact that if they wanted to do business band or cap, you could certainly be doing more than 5 watts DC input, or it's just setting through the top of the radio.
No, the fan is right dead center of that big tube. I can't remember what it is, but it looks like a 8950 or something. It's a great big, and the fan is all exposed. The transformer's exposed, and it has a barrel switch to turn it on and off. And I just love the way it looks. The guy did a great job. That's the only modification to the radio. Besides, it's got a unamplified D104 microphone. I do not have the stock microphone, and something that I would like to seek out at some point for it.
Yeah, with that radio, and that is one radio like the E.F. Johnson and that radio that you really want the stuff. Johnson had their own little logo on it, and the General Radio Telephone had the CM3, but more importantly, it was just really good. It just sounds super good with the radio, and I don't know if it's, like tune the inside of the coupling caps to make it sound that way or whatever, but a good deal. I've got a shot up at oldtuberadio.net of the 12, and it's from Paul, so it's his great outs that he did. Gosh, some of these might have been 20 years ago, and I remember him lamenting after we had the drought that he used to say, see all those trees? He says none of them are there anymore, but the radio still around. Super MC12. If the E.F. Johnson was built like a tank, this is a John Deere and a tank all in one. Audio sounds good. Take another transmission.
Yeah, the picture. Well, I've seen that picture, and when you have the radio on, the channel selector is eliminated and it has a green background, so it's really a sharp radio with the green in there and the gold face and the brown case. There is another modification to the radio. It is strapped, but you can bypass the strap. And that is on the NF tone. When it's on out, the radio is not strapped. When you engage the NF tone, it straps the radio, and it produces about watts when you have it strapped. So I have a load control on my 13-tube reverse preamp, and I run that when I run this radio into it to keep the life of the tubes up on this thing.
Very nice. And I can't show it, unfortunately, but I was looking at the S meter, and you can typically tell when you do the strap on. I don't know about the 12, but you're going to lose a little bit of that great audio. It's going to kind of tone it down a bit, and you'll lose the forward modulation. But you've got it looking pretty good. So however you're doing it is about. I haven't gone over the top. But what they did, so you see on the 11, you notice it. On the 12, probably you don't as much. And I'm trying to read something that's very far away here. The Super MC12 was very much like the General Radio Telephone that was sold to Skyhawk in 1972. They upgraded the MC12 with a much larger, like you mentioned, and powerful final audio tube. And I'm trying to see. No, the MC12 was not able to be type accepted by the FCC. So I'm not sure exactly what that tube was. I think there was an ECLL 800. Hard to find. I don't think that's what's in the 12. Harvey knows. We'll find out from Harvey. But it is good. Audio is good. I didn't check the frequency. Don't need to. And a rare one from General Radio Telephone. Again, not type accepted. So I'm sure whatever they started producing, they didn't make much of them because they were going over to Skyhawk Company. But we got one right here, thanks to Sean, and thanks back to you for transmission, the Old Tube Radio Network.
Yeah, thank you. My conditions deteriorated there, so I wasn't able to make out about the last 20 seconds.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, thanks for the time for the MC12, and it is a coveted radio station, so it won't be going anywhere. And thanks for the time tonight, Dennis. Back to you.
Appreciate our stations taking time out of what they're doing to share with us. I want to say hello to is it Herndon? We have a Herndon Avenue here in Fresno, but it's Herndon, Virginia, in the 20171 area code. Joining us at Old Tube Radio Net tonight. You joining us here at 27085. If there were conditions, you would be tuning your crystal controlled radio 11 or perhaps your VFO to 27085 plus or minus the drift if there were some, and be listening into the Old Tube Radio Network, where we are talking about and listening for the radios, the Class D radios that were built from about 1958 to 78 that were vacuum tubes, like the old cars that have fins and chrome and those great mid-century modern exteriors and interiors. Some of the designers for those automobiles actually designed radios as well. I think it was Raymond Loewy. Once they got him away from putting the fins, he went over to Hallicrafters and made a real nice radio for them. So you know they had some designers at E.F. Johnson and Lafayette and Pierce Simpson and the like. OTR is standing by. And speaking of Herndon, some quick facts. Herndon is a town in Fairfax County, part of the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. In 2020, the population at the census was 24,600, which makes it the largest of 3 incorporated towns in the county. The actual dimensions of the town of Herndon are fairly small. Currently, it is 48 degrees. 49 minutes into Sunday morning, where it is mostly cloudy. Uh-oh. And you know, it sounds like I've got the slows again on the audio. So good. I started earlier. I don't know what causes that. I think there's a bit rate problem somewhere. There's a controller problem right here, but there's a bit rate problem somewhere else. And I really do miss the jingle singer, so I kind of hope we can get all the wires and things straightened out by next week. Popcorn 913. I have one of those someone gave me, and I think it's off the Costco card, so it's probably Kirkland brand. You may or may not be familiar with that. Fire up some popcorn here after the net tonight, and I'll be thinking about you. I had some before. It's actually pretty good. I've got a little pop. I never use it on the microwave. You can hit that popcorn button, and it does a perfect job of not burning things up and popping most of the kernels. The 1625 tube is a 12-volt version of the 807. Now, the 807 is probably, you're going to find those. I don't know if the Viking Rangers had an 807. Probably some of the Collins stuff did. I'll see if I can find it. Maybe I can find a picture of 1625 and stick it up over at oldtuberadio.net here. Of course, that requires me to crawl over computer and do a bunch of stuff. All right, Sean, sorry about that. I was leaning over my computer's 4 feet away. But back to what I should be doing, which is getting our radio number 6 online. Take a transmission. Tell us what you got over.
Okay, well, I haven't fired this one up in time, and it's a Cobra Cam 88, and it is on the stock B&K microphone. This is the second tube radio that I ever got. Harvey got the name because he knew that I really liked Cobra radios, and he figured it would be fitting for me to have a Cobra tube radio. So it's been a great radio. It is the model that has the and the modulation light that blinks when I talk. I do have the Dynaboost on, and it's a 23-channel Citizens band transceiver by B&K and Cobra. So back to you.
Getting some strange. I'm getting some strange noises now, but you are with no problem whatsoever. I'm going to do an on the air adjustment of my. I think the rain has changed. An issue here. Okay, that's kind of better. Test. All right. Radio 6-7. All right, we'll do that. The Cobra Cam 88, always good for audio. Who is it? I was listening to somebody talking about their HT. No, it's the Regency Imperial, changing out some of the audio coupling caps in the Regency and saying, "Oh, that's how much better it sounded, or how much better it could sound." I don't think that's the case in the Cam 88. I think they had those filtered so you could get a lot of low frequencies and high fidelity, even with the stock microphone. But were you wanting to do some of the audio board things? The Cobra Cam 88 is the radio to try it on. Don't even bother with the Browning. It's just not gonna change a thing with the Cam 88, and that's been proven. Dennis has done that with his. And it's like, whoa, that sounds great for those listening in high fidelity, like I do. The Cam 88. We've got a picture up at oldtuberadio.net. And it shows, I guess, one with range expand switch and one without it. But the mod light is there regardless, right? You're making that mod light blink a little bit.
I'm sitting here fiddling with the fine tune adjustment. It is the one with the Dynaboost on it, and yeah, it's very strange. Whatever's going on out here, I'll hear you just fine. Fading out and getting worse. But yeah, the Cobra Cam 88, hopefully making a good trip still. Gosh, there was something I wanted to say, but I completely forgot about it. Oh, that was the thing. It's you do have to turn on the volume and the squelch to get the radio to go. The squelch says standby, and if you're not vigilant, you just turn the volume on. You did not accomplish what you were after there. So that was one of the awesome things about it. And it does have a channel or upper channels on the back. You flip a switch, and it does have a couple extra channels, I believe.
Back in the day, kind of important. Bands were crowded. Especially I was down in the LA area. All 22 channels were busy. There was like channel 12 and 13 were the quote unquote legal channels where you needed to use your collar. Is busy. But everywhere else, you had 2 trucker channels, 17 and 19. You had 16 as the sideband channel. You had people between 22 and 23. Radio Shack, some of the radios, you cut the green wire, you get 22A. Some of the Lafayette radios had 22A and 22B. So you gotta have space. You gotta have good stuff. A lot of the people would I guess, put the little extra crystal switch in there to multiply and get you up in the, I don't even think it was called the free band then. I don't know what they call them, the funny frequencies, whatever it was. The FCC in 1976 finally said, all right, we're just not even going to talk to you guys. We'll just give you we're going to give you all the channels, but we're going to make it so that you can't sell it radio anymore and you have to buy a 40 channel radio. I don't know. It seemed to work out. Anyway, Radio 6, the Cobra Cam 88, and tell me the microphone you're using again, over. You can hear me.
Yeah, I'm using the stock DA microphone, and I had to turn on the live stream chat there. I've completely lost all signal on you there, Dennis. I am on the stock microphone, and hopefully you can still hear me. And this will be the last radio for me. I'll be listening on the live stream there. And Harvey, you were nice and loud tonight. I'm sure I'll hear you when you poke in here. So thanks, Dennis.
All right. Well, like I said, I've had to readjust my antenna mesh a couple of times, so I may be having some. Hopefully, I don't have any, water in the coax issue. I don't see any big major problems on my end, but you never know. Sounding good from Sangertown. There's a lot of things going on in between us, so I appreciate your extra efforts tonight. And if it wasn't for you, our SWLs probably would be taking a nap by now. Thanks for the Cobra Cam 88 tonight. Counting and mounting soon. Glad to get up on the net, get the video going. I don't know where the audio was, if it was acceptable, but I'm glad I get the chat window open. It's good to see you having a good time listening in and maybe getting some ideas for the type of radios they want to add to their Radio Shack. Looking for a Bulldog score before we go. Game is still on, but hopefully we're in the right score points. Hello, Joe. I've got I ran out of numbers. Let me add the number 7 here.
Thank you much, here, Dennis. Doggone it. Yeah, we checked in. I know it's getting kind of late already, and I'm so used to those jingle singers that I do miss them. I really do. Dennis, I'd like to check in from World Radio Labs, just down from Iowa. My Hustler base of World Radio Labs.
I believe it's Leo Meyerson, Globe, World Radio Labs, WRL. I think you said you're on the regular blue microphone, so you got to remember to stay in that one a little bit closer than you normally would. Do I have the picture? I'll have the blue radio picture, and I'll put it in there if I've got it.
Yeah, Tim War. Yeah, I know you got to kind of get up on this one here. I don't know anything about these type of microphones, Dennis. Maybe help me out on it, or it might say something about it. I don't know if it has a speaker or who knows. Maybe just a little bottle cap full of some gray ashes. I don't know. But anyway, doggone it, Dennis, I have a little radio here that has 7 tubes. All pretty little blue radio with a blue microphone. All its hardware. And it's just ready to put up under your dash and get to talking on it.
Mobile base, I suppose you yourself a 12-volt battery and take it out to the corner park on the bench. with Astron 99, or just run the coax from your mobile 102-inch whip and be able to shoot some skip with that. Nice radio. Don't hear too many of them. And again, in our almost 40 years, I'm sure you are the only station I know. We had a lot of Globe radios, but from WRL, you are the one and only that's got the blue Hustler. Over. And I not over. That's a good thing because you are the Hustler. Over.
Yeah, that's a good one there. I know when at the time there when Harvey brought it up that he thought I might be really interested in what he had there, and I said, "Wow, what you know that it's I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it in a lifetime. Come across something that possibly had your own handle on it. It was great. Anyway, this is the Hustler Radio from World Radio Lounge. Might be the one and only, but
20.
All right, doing good job. Thanks for radio number 7, and like you too, Joe. I need those jingle singers. The radios. Sometimes the jingle singers just add that little extra flavor to the mix. Thanks for joining us with the World Radio Labs. And Harvey has run up the stairs, around the corner, careened and spun into the air chair, and now it is in front of some radio. I don't know what. Hello, Harvey.
Roger, I don't run up the stairs, kind of crawl. Anyway, this is the General Radio Telephone Super MC 9 early model. Reason I say early model is all the MC series up through the 8 had the what I call the racetrack speaker grill. That kind of, not quite oval, but excuse me, it looks like a racing, a horse racing track type oval. Anyway, I have another MC9 that's got the either you call it a waffle cut-in slats to the speaker grill on the face, and all the other ones and on up have that, except for the DSB 72 sideband, which did come out very, very early, and it's got that funny grill, the older one. This one's got the old grill. I have another MC9 with the updated grill. So that's why I got this one. Anyway, General Radio Telephone MC9, stock hand mic.
Doing a good job. I put a shot of the Super MC8 so you can see the difference in the grill. The 9 is up now. It's got the full base plate with the cutouts rather than like mesh grill. Got the I guess it's the CM5. It says CM something stock microphone at the top. Paul's collection. Did a great job of shooting them out in the flora and fauna. You've got good audio. I think you are on the Harvey Range Boost, but might be adding a little bit of something extra that you don't want, but it does sound good. Over. I think that's 120. That's about right. Who's got the scope? They can track that. If it's 80, 120, 180. Anyway, it's say a few words for the audience.
Now I lost the audio on transmit. I lost the receiver. I fixed that. And now I lost the audio on transmit. Ah, terrible. I'll get that thing fully going one of these days.
All right. Well, sorry. It just seemed like the hum was there a little bit more, so maybe something was gonna fail. I don't know if there's a capacitor that went or something, but you could hear it. If you play, you'll hear the hum. It wasn't anything super bad, but it was more noticeable. And then it was very noticeable because it was the only thing there. But as you said, you are going to revisit, as it were, the Super MC9, which is our radio number 8 tonight. But I think you now have radio number 9, over.
Yeah, well, hang on for a sec. I have to do this so Sean can hear me in Sanger. It's got a little hum, it's got a little hum.
He will hear you. It's the Mud Duck Me that he's having trouble with.
Hey, Roger. Alrighty. Trying to think if there was something else I needed to do. That, you know what it is. Trying to think if there was something else. Now, I can't remember. Oh, Proximian maybe next week. It depends on if I get.
Will do. We are having a big function at the radio station on Friday night, so I should be here Saturday. I'm still waiting for a power supply to come in on the other. Maybe I'll do some trickery with what I've got here to make things work. I just have to get the other computer up so I can transfer some stuff off into the newer units here, and it will all be good, regardless of where the computer and the air chair or the net control. There will always be radios out there wanting to check in, like yourself and the ones we got tonight, so we will appreciate that. All right, thanks, Harvey, and I will ask if there's any other stations that need to check in before end the radio extravaganza tonight. Probably everybody out by the fireplace. No rain tomorrow, Monday, on a Tuesday, on a Wednesday, I think. Something like that. So it must be fall in the Central Valley. The amounts, the counts and amounts. I really miss the fair tonight. And one time, Mike's not in tonight, SWL 47, but he actually gave us a fanfare with his horn, with his brass instrument. I'm not sure exactly what it was that he had, and I don't want to say it wrong, and be insulting, but it was a very good thing, and we had our live fanfare. So with that, tonight we had 73 SWLs, 18 on page 1, 17 on page 2, 18 on page 3, and 22 on page 8. Thank you, Dave and Sang, for 00, getting us started off yet again this week. Radio-wise, we had 9 come by today. Not bad. I thought it would be slower than that, but we did okay, thanks to a couple of stations that, and as we used to say, working the room. Most heard manufacturers. I believe we had a 3-way tie between the E.F. Johnsons early on, and then the General Radio and then the Browning Golden Eagles at 2 apiece. But we did start off with the Robin T123B from Joe. Thanks for that. The E.F. Johnson Messenger 223, number 1 in Sanger, followed by E.F. Johnson Messenger 223, number 2 from Joe in Fresno. They both sounded great. I was thinking maybe there was one. John just drove it over to Joe, and Joe drove it to Sean, but they're too far apart for that, so I know that wasn't the case. Sean on the triple play, radios 4, 5, and 6, the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III-B, the General Radio Telephone Super MC12. That is a rare radio all the way around, just because they didn't make a lot of them, and I don't know if they had transformer issues or whatever, but occasions on his, so someone took very good care of it and knew what it was they had. So I'm glad that Sean was able to grab onto that and is able to share it with everybody. And also, he finished with his Cobra 88 as well. So a good night kept Sean busy. He said he was tired. So for a guy who wasn't getting much sleep, he did a lot of work tonight. So I hope you can go to bed early and sleep. Radio number 7 was the World Radio Labs Hustler, the blue radio from Joe, and then a couple from Harvey at the end. The Golden Radio, the General Radio Telephone Super MC9. I'm getting ahead of myself. And the Browning Golden Eagle R60. I'm getting tired. The R68, T68, the Golden Beagle. So thanks, everybody. Thanks for putting up on the video side with looking at me all night. We'll working on it. Just this 21st century stuff. We know the radios will perform, and that's why we are here. Make sure the radios get on the air and get information out like that. And if we can get extra stuff in the meantime, that is a good thing. So have a great weekend. We will see you after the Thanksgiving Thursday holiday, so hopefully you can get together if you can with some family and friends, or do whatever it is you do. Thanksgiving is a favorite holiday for a lot of people because you can get together and talk and eat and have a good time, maybe an extended break from the salt mines if you're lucky enough to do that, and then back to it for the Christmas holiday. Everybody from your old tube radio network.
Hey, Dennis, I'm back on this puppy. And nice net. You may proxy me in next week, maybe.
All right, yeah, no, you sound good. So if I don't know if you willed a tube or you spilled a little Dr. Pepper down the vent, but it is back. Over.
Pretty much.
Good thing. All right, and you know, just to mention, somebody's talking about the video. I didn't have the link. Sometimes I'll get the link, but it was for some reason the email to myself the link to get it on. I'm going to figure out what's going on with that. Just another wacky thing. So good job for those of you who slogged through and able to get the video up and running, and then you look at it and say, well, it's just that control guy. Where's all the good stuff? That will be coming next week. Let me tell you, it was a job today just to get this much going. And Harvey, you sound marvelous. Over.
Marvelous. I sound marvelous.
Indeed. Well, we'll keep the screwdriver happy or handy and happy. Don't tighten up the case on that. I'm sure you want to do a little bit more to it.
Oh, yeah. It's a combination of, I had to go in and rethought or something in the RF section, and then the relay they put in here is kind of angled real funny, and I have to sit there and it's on its side. Plastic cover falls off, and when it does, it doesn't allow the relay to fully go back on receive.
Wow. All right. Did this fall off a tree from Hanford or something?
Well, hey, a little ball work on it. I'll do that tomorrow.
That's the loudest tube radio I've ever heard. That MC9 is impressive, Harvey.
The general radio telephones are. And Harvey, did you go up and raise your antenna?
What there, Dennis?
Did Sean walk on me? He's had a big signal. I said, did you go and raise your antenna?
No, I just have the range boost on, just for Sean and Sanger. Otherwise, he can't hear me.
Oh, he can hear you tonight.
it has you guys have the same signal, and his Browning was nowhere near this. The MC9 is just unbelievable. The audio loud.
Late modulation. What's the final tube in the 9? It's not the 800, is it? Oh, I think he's losing his receive again.
Yeah, maybe he needs to solder something, but he's on the right path, that's for sure.
Yeah, this is the solder something frequency.
Yeah, it's a regular thing till you get it right.
And Richard, you're for the 11 meter, the 10 meter beacons.
It's the relay and underneath, I think. I fixed the underneath, but now I got to secure the relay a little bit better.
Well, it's no doubt when it's working, man. That is the loudest radio I've heard on the program for sure.
Okay, stock hand mic. What happens when I put the Turner Custom Special 1 on this thing? Then it's really loud.
I know it's not a D104. You're just rubbing it in. That stock hand mic for my Super MC12.
Yeah, you'll probably be surprised.
Yeah, well, that D104, not the ticket. I believe it. Now hearing Harvey's audio tonight, I've got to change the microphone.
Got to have that OEM.
Yeah, that's the way I like it. Just like the cars, I like everything stock.
Got to have the company logo on the hubcap or it ain't good.
Yeah. Never seen one of these master control microphones, so I'm curious. I'll have to do a little investigation. But yeah, nothing like the stock microphone. The Johnson Messenger proves it tonight.
All right, indeed it does. I'm going to shut down the items of interest here. Sean, thanks for your extra efforts tonight. For a good job, and you kept me busy. You kept me from falling asleep. That's for sure.
Yeah, thank you, Dennis. Appreciate all the effort you put in, and have a great evening. 73s, everybody.
There you go. And 97, Jim reminds us, keep the bobby pins if you're not using them in the D104 microphone as paper clips, and hold that relay. Good night, everybody. Have a great giving day coming up, and stay safe from the shoppers and the crazy drivers, and we will catch you next time on your old Tube Radio Network.
Catch you next time, hopefully.
Okay. Yeah. So that kind of works. I still have no clue what the bit rate malfeasance is on the audio. It starts out good, but slips away. And maybe able to get that power supply delivered so I can run off. I need to run off. Anyway. 72 plus 1. It's time for that popcorn. Oh, and Lake Almanor. Oh my gosh. Here I am about ready to pull the plug air chair after fighting with all these computers and trying to get some video going on, and then the voodoo guy from Lake Almanor is who I can never hear. By the time I get into my radio room in the evening, 40 meters has gone away. I might hear Andy, and I might hear Craig end of the block, as it were. But the local stuff is totally gone. I have to live vicariously through one of the SDRs, and so Mark, how all's doing? Well, maybe I'll catch you tomorrow morning. More in the morning if you're not running around keeping the cats out of the snow. In Lavon, I will do that. Harvey he's battling with that general radio telephone. Sounds like he'll be doing okay. You've got the spark gap in the J38. My J38, you can't see it. If I lift it up, I've got two of them. Although I saw one, it's on QRZ. It was like $200, $250, but it looked like, it looked better than brand new. It had this special base for it, and it had the telephone line clips. It had a redone, I don't know, what do you call the tap? He had a name for it. That was redone. I know it was Bakelite. I don't think it was. It was shiny. This one, no amount of Brasso J38, and then it just seems like all the spring things are not good. But I use it for my push to talk, little switch for CW. Cool thing. So I might find another one. Spark gap, I don't know about. And Mr. You have been checked in. I will go back. In fact, I could do this now tonight because I have the camera right here. And you have indeed been checked, suffering from the digital void malfeasance of, the 20-second delay. But right here on page 4, let's see, I've got right there on page 4, let's go up to digital SWL, and you have, in fact, it appears that you have perfect attendance. Indeed, 8 weeks plus the last 2, so you won't be in the running. You will be in the little hopper for 00, which in theory we should be picking next week, so I can give Dave a break. Be ready to be picked for 00, maybe. And then you'll have to be here right at the beginning, which you always are. I'm good you checked in. Good night, everybody. The old tube radio. And Mark, I agree. Audio testing is always, but it's like 9 o'clock. The band changed right about 9 in the morning, 10 in the morning, and you don't get that phasing and stuff. And if you're still listening, my big computer is broken. The power supply is gone, and that is the one that links to the 532 audio. So I'm stuck. My audio is stuck on the 6K profile, so I'm back to having to go to the radio to go to 4.5 and 5K. And if I need to do wide glide, I have to dump out of the 532 and go direct. So that's another reason. This settles so I get a backup. So I don't have a backup on the other computer for the 532. A very big oversight on my part. Good night, everybody.